so incredibly busy with our respective YouTube channels that we don't really have the time or the luxury or privilege to be able to game on all the cool games that launch, periodically throughout the year. But there were a couple that came to mind for me. We've definitely had some good times in Overwatch. I think a lot of us have.
Overwatch.
Yeah, that was a really good time.
I like Overwatch.
I think that game is going to be around for a while. I don't see it going anywhere anytime soon.
They can keep adding depth by adding new characters,
new skins and characters. Yeah. Yes, yeah.
And maps too.
Yep, yeah, definitely. So that's been a huge fun one to play for me personally, and then also Doom. I had a shit ton of fun with Doom. Just the campaign. I honestly haven't even touched the multiplayer, but just playing that was one of the first campaign. That's like the first campaign that I've actually finished on PC in like a year, maybe 2. I can't really think of too many other titles, but I was just hooked on that game from start to finish. It was a really good job by Bethesda and id.
My wife agrees with you.
Yeah, I know, she was playing it too.
Yeah, I've had some fun playing Doom, but I have not found the time to sit and play through the entire campaign. Most of the times when I've been playing it has been for testing purposes and stuff, but it is a really cool and well-designed game. The one I would add to that list would be Civilization 6.
Oh, yeah.
I do feel like there's still more to come with Civ 6. They've already started doing some patches. They just did a patch and finally added an alert option for that's the weird thing about a game like Civ 6. It launches and it's like missing features that the game that Civ 5 had. And you're like, wait, shouldn't I be able to do that? Isn't that a pretty fundamental thing that I get used to with the old game that's not there anymore? And you have to wait for them to bring it in. But
we forgot about the guns.
Even with that, I have still played a pretty decent number of hours at that, and it's been fun so far. And again, a game that you can see there being plenty of depth in the future with patches, and hopefully mainly patches and not so much expansions and paid-for DLC.
Yeah, indeed. Just some honorable mentions really quick. H1Z1, I think that was before, that came out before 2016, but that's 2016, this year was the year I got introduced to it, and I think I played that game the most out of all the ones we've discussed so far. And then also Titanfall 2. I have not finished more than a third of the campaign, but so far the campaign's been really, really fun.
Heard many good things about that.
Much more than I anticipated. The multiplayer is frustrating at first. There is a steep learning curve, but once you can get past it, it's a lot of fun. I think I saw Cell mention something about it. It's a really great game. So, yay, video games. That's why it's the reason for living. That's why I wake up every day.
I want to play video games.
So before we close up with our last segment, let's go ahead and take a look at the poll results.
This is ongoing, right? So, guys, if you're watching this, if you're watching the re-upload or watching in the future, I'm going to vote because I'm on 3440 by 1440.
Oh yeah, me too. I forgot, like I can vote too.
Why won't it let me vote?
This 54% at 1080.
I can't vote. It won't let me. It's fascist. There's fascism.
Fascism.
It's racist against ultra-wide screen.
Look at this. Wow.
Can I vote?
This is fascinating.
My vote has been counted. I've already voted. All right. Whatever.
Stop trying to multi-vote. You cheater.
That's 54% still at 1080.
Yeah.
15% at 1440. 7% at 4K.
Wow, I'm surprised. 4K is third place.
6% still below 1080. Ultra wides representing after that with roughly even split between 2560 by 1080 and 3440 by 1440.
Interesting.
And then our die-hard
19 by 10.
19 by 10. No, 16 by 10.
16 by 10.
16 by 10. Fans down here at the bottom. 19 of them on 1920 by 1200.
And others.
6 on 2560 by 1600. I should be able to also vote for 2560 by 1600 because that's still my editing system. Although I am planning on upgrading that screen soon, I think. But I'll probably move that to my secondary screen.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really interesting. So, I'll do some further investigation on that. Thank you all for the voting, yes, absolutely. And then,
my PC?
My PC. We've only got a couple here. We've got like 3 or 4. We're going to run through them quickly here because we're already over time limit. So, first off, we've got Dennis with a Core i7 4790K, 24 gigs of DDR3. Interesting capacity there. And then we've also got, wait, does that say 7 240 gig? Wow, that's 7 SSDs. He has 7 240 gig SSDs in RAID 0 on a RAID card. That's awesome. A 750 gig hard drive, and a GTX 660. Running Ubuntu 16.04 version.
Damn.
Look at that. Look at all those. This is unique. And look at the case, too. This is a custom build.
It's wood.
It's wood. It's got some like railing on the side for the drive cages. It looks completely DIY. Very, very kind of cool and unique setup here. And I'm just kind of like stunned with all those SSDs there. They look like Crucials. Might be Crucials from the stickers. I can't really tell. But
like Crucial or like OCZ vectors, but I'm not
potentially. But from what I would tell here, actually your cable management's pretty clean for how many drives you have just situated right there.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I've seen far worse with less drives.
Where is the power supply? There must
Other
be
side?
must be a separate chamber.
Yeah.
A two-side system like.
Oh no, the power supply's behind the drive cage. See it?
Oh yeah.
Facing down.
Okay.
Or I guess the cables are coming down from
That
below.
that must stick out further on the other side because it looks like looks like this side of the power supply is flush with the motherboard, so it must stick out on the opposite side, or
Right.
or the case is wider over there. There's more space or something.
Air 240.
That's really cool though. I like the scratch build.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if we are just going from a straight, aesthetic or cosmetic standpoint here, Noctua fans would go great in here. And I don't say that often because there aren't many rigs that do.
Sure.
But hey, it's a wood build. Sticks and Noctuas in there. They perform great, and they would actually match with something here.
Very nice, Dennis.
Yeah. Good job.
Thank you for your submission.
Good work. I hope that's really your system. I should probably start verifying that more.
Next is Jeff Ray.
Jeff Ray.
Z170M ASRock motherboard, GTX 1070 G1 gaming, 3 GB and 8 gigs of RAM, i5 6600K, Hyper 212 Evo, and a P400 case. All right, so this is a very straightforward build. You got a good price to performance ratio here.
Yeah.
You got a bit more budget motherboard, but a GTX 1070 and a 6600K in there. I'd be curious what your overclocking is like with that motherboard. I'm not sure. I haven't done too much overclocking with ASRock motherboards, but I hope you're getting something decent. 4.4 or 4.5 maybe.
Yeah.
And then the P400 case. Honestly, I mean, aesthetically, what's just standing out is going to be, of course, your power supply cables. You have a shroud for the PSU. We don't know what kind of power supply that is. If it's a decent enough one, then you might consider some extensions. And then the Hyper 212, that looks fine in here, honestly. You got copper terminations for the heat pipes in there, which actually kind of matches with the motherboard a little bit. Yeah.
I think if you wanted to kind of just make it look a little bit more premium, then maybe slap like a 240 AIO in there instead of the, this is later down the line. Of course, the Hyper 212 you have in there is perfectly fine, functional. But if you wanted to make it just look a little edgier, maybe a little bit more robust, and the other thing is you would be taking advantage of the features you paid for with the P400 because the thing has excellent radiator support for a case of its price point.
True.
So, and you get a decent 240 AIO pretty cheap these days, and you can buy them used. Those, no problem buying used AIO. But that's it. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks,
Jeff.
Jeff.
It's a nice system. Next up, we've got
Navjack.
Navjack
27, a 5820K system overclocked to a very specific 4.582 gigahertz. 32 gigs of DDR4 2800 and 980 Ti, which is at 1532,000. An MSI X99A SLI motherboard with a Kraken X61, an EVGA 850 power supply, and a Define S case.
Yeah.
Cable management is awful.
It's the worst cable management I've ever seen.
There is room in the Define S to route your cables. There is enough length on the cables for your EVGA power supply to route them properly. You should do that.
Yeah.
Beyond that, again, it's a decent power supply. The EVGA 850B2, it's 80 plus bronze. The sticker doesn't look that great. The cables themselves don't look that great. Since cable management isn't your forte, then I don't want to necessarily say, go for extensions or anything like that. But you could flip the power supply. The fan's facing up right now. It might make a little bit more sense to face it down so you can take advantage of the dust filter on the case. You're missing 3 of your expansion slots down here, which I can appreciate if it means you've been swapping out hardware. I've definitely done that myself, but replacing those would tidy things up a bit. And then of course you've got the single knock to a fan at the back there, which if it is an NFF12 is being underused as an air exhaust, but
Yeah.
it's also just sticks out like a sore thumb as far as matching color-wise. But again, with the NFF12, always the dilemma. It's such a good fan. Blah blah blah.
Doesn't that card look a little weird? Like the wind force, like if you look at like the shape of the shroud like, below the wind force logo, like doesn't that look weird? Just me.
I don't think so. It looks short for a 980 Ti.
I just feel like this, like the shape of the shroud, kind of below wind force, kind of looks like it's been cut or something. Doesn't look straight.
Like it's sticking out a little bit right here or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but it might just be the angle the picture's taken at.
Maybe, yeah.
I'm not sure.
Huh.
But yeah, so nav jack, honestly, just route your cables properly. Use
Yeah.
See these grommeted holes right here? they put those
Really
there
provided for you.
to put your cables through them and then back out from them. There's one up at the top for your 8-pin. There's one over here for your 24-pin. There's one down here for all the other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, do all that.
Look at, see, look, this is a wind force 980 Ti. Look at how straight it is. Look, he's got some weird shroud. Someone in the chat mentioned it too.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying. I have no. This is the only picture we have, so it's really hard to say what's going on there.
I have no idea.
Interesting.
You just had to be there, I guess.
All right. Well, thanks for your submission, Navjack.
Nav. And then lastly, we've got Justin. Justin, 4790K, 16 gigs of RAM, GTX 980, and Evercool cooler.
Evercool.
Puke.
That is a fairly ghetto Evercool cooler.
I think the cooler's not half as bad as the power supply.
Whoa!
The power supply is way more dated.
That was pulled from like a Dell from
Pre-built.
1999 or something like that.
Woo!
That is a
Oh boy!
dangerous power supply.
We got some IDE cables
Oh,
coming out of
it's
there.
with a 980 too.
Yeah.
He might be using the Molex to 6 or 8 pin PCI Express graphics connectors with that.
And there's so much going on wrong with this build. I mean, not to be rude,
Right.
but look at the exhaust fan. It's an intake.
That's an intake. I was about to say the same thing. You've got front fans as intakes, but the back fan also is intake. Definitely want to flip that back fan. This is a fractal. Wait, these are
R5?
fractal fans.
It's like an R5. Yeah, it's definitely fractal. It's R5, I think. So he must have flipped it.
But these are the nicer.
Voluntarily.
These are the nicer ones. These are Venturi.
No,
Are they?
Venturis aren't white
Okay,
blades.
never mind.
Those are stock.
All right.
He just flipped it.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just going with the full positive pressure thing.
Do it. Just stay positive. It's your shirt.
I know.
Too much.
The horrible influence.
People are taking it too literally. All right.
These
So
cables need to go. Power supply.
yeah, honestly,
Terrifying.
I would get a new power supply. Because like that kind of power supply really scares me, especially for long-term use. And you don't have like a low-power system. I mean, it's not like the most power-hungry system, but a 4790K and a 980, you know, especially if you're overclocking it all,
Yeah.
it's, you know, you need some clean power for that. Yeah.
Someone said, why is there a knot in the CPU cooler cable?
Right up here, it's cable management. It looks like a rainbow pretzel.
Flames are awaiting.
Yeah, so this rear fan, flip it and rotate it so you can route that cable better. Get a new power supply, just get one that has all black cables or something like that, and rewire everything. Take all of these loose cables and pull them back behind the motherboard tray, and you'll be fine.
Rocking the beige optical drive too.
An optical, yeah, the ODDs, there's not much you can do about those. I mean, you can paint them and stuff, but
The fact that like the rear fan, like he even mounted it so like the cable is like in the front and not the coming out the back.
yeah.
Just little things like that. The needs a little bit of help, quite a bit.
A little bit.
But hopefully we helped you a little.
We have given you some suggestions, so
Yes.
thank you, Justin, for your submission. And we are now to the part at the end of the show
The cool and
where we read. Oh my
Yeah.
God, there are lots of donation comments that we must read through. Let's attempt to do quickly. I will
Okay.
start, and let's go every other one.
Okay.
First off, $1 from Igloo2. Today is Tuesday. Yes, it is. Thank you much for pointing that out and for your donation.
We'd be lost without you. Next, we've got a $1 donation from Levi. Thank you very much, Levi. I'm looking for a very quiet mechanical keyboard. What would you guys recommend? If you need it now, get a Strafe from Corsair because they're the only ones who have the, up until now, have had the silent MX switches,
Yeah.
which we were just talking about. But if you want to wait for more options, those switches just became available worldwide to any vendor, so there's probably going to be some more boards rolling out with those switches.
Or look for regular Cherry MX Reds or blue or
Browns.
Reds or Browns.
Browns pretty quiet.
They're not too loud.
Yeah.
$20 from Graham A. Easy question this time. Did you guys like Duclaw?
With that.
I work about 15 minutes from the brewery. Totally hook you up with some fresh brewskis. The Duclaw is the beers that were sent to us.
Oh,
Recently.
yes. Yes, those
Yes.
were tasty.
Yes, it was delicious.
Yeah, they were. What was it? It was a. No, it wasn't a brown. It was
I remember.
a stout. It was a stout.
Yeah, I remember precisely.
They were good. We drank them all, so they must have not been terrible.
Yeah, they were fantastic.
What I can remember. Thank you very much, Graham. Very generous of you. Dollar donation from Katsunaka. Katsunaka. Kyle is so Swedish, he drives a Volvo while eating meatballs on his way home from IKEA.
That's really Swedish.
That cuts me deep. You know? I'm just... It's unnecessary. But thank you for the donation.
And then did he
After this point, I made it known that only donations of $5 or more will be read. Well, I'm glad I read it anyway. I'm really glad that I read your dollar donation critique of me being
still
Swedish.
useful.
Still useful. I will still use that to buy more meatballs. $20 from Quentin Mosley. Thank you very much, Quentin.
Thanks, Quentin.
Beer fun, son. Best guys. Best to you, sir.
Wonderful.
Be used accordingly.
Absolutely wonderful. $21 from King Cosmo. King Cosmo. Working on building my gaming PC, 6700K, dual SLI EVGA 1080 Hydro Copper Asus ROG Maximus 8 formula. Going to do full custom hardline water cooling loop, including CPU, GPUs, and VRM. Still haven't decided on a case. A suggestion on a water cooling friendly case. Thanks for all your videos. You've inspired my PC builds.
Case Labs.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going really high end, definitely consider something like Case Labs, although they are quite expensive.
Yeah.
If you want a simple case that will fit your stuff and is good for water cooling, can't go wrong with the Define S from Fractal. Kyle has built it here before. It's got good stuff for water cooling mounts and that kind of thing. I would also suggest Corsair, who has a wide variety of cases depending on what style that you want. So they have different lines that work better for different things, whether you want like a bunch of tempered glass or whether you want something that's more traditional with just a standard side panel window.
Fantex.
Fantex also has great options. You've worked with more of their cases than I have. I mean, I've worked with the Enthoo Pro, which is a good standby.
Yeah, Enthoo Pro, Enthoo Lux is good.
Enthoo Lux.
The Enthoo Evolve ATX is fantastic.